On the program right now, Ed Worley, NRA ILA's California State Liaison. Ed, good evening to you, sir.
Good evening. How you doing?
I'm okay. Glad you could be with us. Understand that the California Legislature it starts its summer recess on July 15th, and before then, apparently, they're really trying to pass some gun control bills.
Well, they're trying to pass a lot of bills. They're trying to get bills out of policy committees. There's probably 200 bills tomorrow in Assembly appropriations when they're just playing with all the different bills. So this is sort of the last push for them to get a lot of the bills out. So, we're getting swept along with the tide of people running to their vacations. So, along with all the other stuff they're trying to do out here. So it's crazy.
Yeah. So what bills are we talking about here, Ed? I mean, what are the ones that you're really concerned are going to see movement?
Yeah, well, today we had Assembly Public Safety, and today what we saw was the BB gun coloration bill. That's the one we talked about where the BB guns had to be specific colors.
Yes.
And that bill was resurrected and voted on today. What they did is they gutted the bill totally out because they realized we were absolutely totally correct with federal preemption over state law. So in an effort to get around that, they gutted Senate Bill 798 totally out and replaced it with a bill that says that it takes away state preemption for BB gun devices and allows local municipalities to regulate BB guns, air guns, and force them to be colored and all this other stuff. Well, that's interesting, but it still doesn't get them out from under the federal preemption law.
Yeah.
So that's how desperate they are to try to pass something out of the committee. Was the bill we defeated last week, they totally stripped all the language out of the bill and made it take away state preemption on the state controlling how BB gun devices are sold in the state. And the chairman of the committee even told Senator DeLeon, he says, well, that gets you out of one problem, but that means now if local municipalities do that they're going to get sued. And he says, well, yeah, that's absolutely right. So, if L.A. or some of these others, if this bill passes, L.A. some of these other cities trying to pass some of these stupid BB gun ordinances, they're still not going to be exempt from the federal preemption statute.
Right.
And that's what crazy stuff is. They acknowledge that we're right. They acknowledge that federal preemption law is supreme. They acknowledge that nobody can do it. So their attitude is, well, okay, you're right, we can't do it, so let's let somebody else do it, let them get sued. So, yeah, exactly right. So you're sitting there going, okay. So that bill got out of Assembly Appropriations, Assembly Public Safety Committee today.
Okay. Now, does it go over to appropriations?
Yeah, it'll go to Assembly Appropriations next. And then the other bill that got out of committee today was Senate Bill 124. This is a bill also by Senator DeLeon, where he's claiming that the Parker lawsuit is putting the cop killer bullet law, federal law and state law, under some kind of legal threat. Well, everybody knows that that's not true. You've talked to Chuck Michelle about it on the Parker lawsuit, and it's a smokescreen because what he's trying to do is fix his AB 962, his handgun ammo registration law that we got overthrown in the Parker case.
Yeah.
So he's using a smokescreen trying to pretend that he's out here to save the so-called cop killer bullet language in California statute. And the only way we can do that to protect it from the evil NRA trying to sue to legalize cop killer bullets is we have to pass Senate Bill 124. So that's how ironic and weird the debate is. And so that bill passed out of Assembly Public Safety today, now goes to Assembly Approach. So yeah, so we testified against the bill today. And the amazing thing is on Senate Bill 798.
Yeah.
The BB coloration bill.
Right.
Last week we had a big hearing about it. We had a lot of NRA members come in and paintballers guys come in and testify against the bill. This time they made the bill vote only. They would not let the public come or anybody testify against the bill, even though they massively changed the bill, massively changed the intent of the bill. They forbade the citizens and even NRA representatives or anybody else from going there and testifying for or against the bill because I don't think they wanted to hear all the bad news again. So that's how ironic all this is.
So they just avoided having to hear it by not allowing any testimony.
Right. And so they said, okay, we're just going to vote only. So our Republican friends on the committee opposed and said, well, wait a second. You've gutted the bill massively.
Yeah.
And we're not going to have any testimony on the bill. And the chairman says, no, that's right. We're not going to have testimony on the bill. the kind of games that get, intramural games that get played this time of the year.
Yeah.
And we're staring down the budget problems, which still haven't been solved. Plus the end of, beginning of summer recess. So amidst all of this going on, then we have, of course, the AB 809, which is the long gun registration bill.
Mm-hmm.
That is going to be heard in Senate Appropriations next Monday, the 11th. So as all this stuff keeps moving around, it'll be interesting to see, because also we have AB 144, the open carry ban is on the Senate floor right now. So there's a lot of stuff percolating around. It's kind of hard to keep track of where everything's going.
Yeah.
Because there's so many ping pong balls in the air right now. Our NRA CCW reform bill, Senate Bill 610 by Senator Rod Wright. As you remember, we got that out of committee, Assembly of Public Safety, last week, and now that's going to also go to Assembly Appropriations. So when you're calling to oppose 798 and 124, also support Senate Bill 610, our NRA CRPA CCW reform bill. So there's a lot of balls up in the air right now. I'm sure people are trying to scribble stuff down. Well, wait a second. What number was that? What bill was that? Well, go to calRA.com, our California website, sign up for our ILA alerts from NRA headquarters, and between both of those, that'll keep you totally up to speed with what's going on, because it's going to get a little crazy here in the next week and a half as everything is bouncing around like crazy.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah, so it's just that time of year, and hopefully they'll go on break on July 15th, and that'll give us all a pause so we can really focus on where the bills are, and that'll give everybody a chance to really get the opposition cards, letters, emails, and faxes into the senators and some of those offices. So, in a nutshell, that's the only thing that's going on out here.
Wow. Yeah. It doesn't sound like it sounds kind of quiet at that point, Ed. Wow.
Well, compared to everything else that's going on, it's like watching the parade go by, and there's all this craziness going on at the legislature. And it's not just on our stuff. There's all kinds of bills going on, like we've talked about before.
Yeah.
Hundreds of bills are going through the bill machine right now. And like I said, tomorrow in Assembly Appropriations, I'm sure there's close to 200 bills they're going to try to hear tomorrow.
Jeez.
Now, so I'm sure there's going to be lots and lots of testimony on all the bills, as we've all talked about. Probably
right.
Not.
Yeah.
Because it's like, in Assembly of Public Safety today, they invoked the 2-for-2 rule.
Well, what's that?
Yeah, two persons from each side for 2 minutes.
So 4 minutes of 4 minutes of testimony on each side.
Yeah, because
8 minutes total.
Right. See, and that's the bizarre part of all this. When you go to a policy committee, you would think that you have a really good policy debate. This is the implications of this. This is what's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
But we shouldn't do that. And it gets to a point sometimes where all they're trying to do is just check off the boxes. They're just trying to move the bill mill forward and the bill machine forward, and they really don't want to hear from the public. They really don't want to hear from anybody. They've decided what they're going to do, and they just sort of just turn the handle on the machine, and just crank stuff out, because they had to be back on the assembly floor today at noon. So they had to crank through all the bills and everything today in committee. So they just stuck their foot on the pedal and just shoved all the bills through the committee. So everybody got shorted on time. It's just us. It was on all the bills. But that's how frustrating it is when you have NRA members and people come to the Capitol to help, and it's great to see them come to the Capitol and help.
Mm-hmm.
Give them things to do. We have them help, have them go talk to people. And then they're so disappointed when they go to the committee hearing and they've driven lots of miles to come and help, when they're told they cannot testify on bills.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, it's amazing. It's like they don't want to hear from the citizens. They don't want to hear from the advocacy of the NRA. It's like, don't confuse us with facts. We've already made up our mind. And that's the frustrating part of all this, is that they never allow a really good debate, because they know that the facts aren't on their side. They know that we're going to be able to take them to task on this stuff.
Right.
And that's a frustrating part. So that's why it's so important to get the calls, emails, faxes in, to really go to your gun club, go to your IDP events, go to your cowboy match, go with your hunting buddies, get them on the phone when you go to hunt camp with them, or when you're planning your hunting trip later this year.
Mm-hmm.
Call them up on the phone and get them all plugged in, and get them all making those emails, cards, and faxes to the Capitol. Because it's going to get a little crazy here in the next week and a half, but that's okay. We have have all the way through the rest of the session. So we're going to have plenty of time to really take them to task. But it's frustrating.
Absolutely. Absolutely it is. Well, listen, Ed, I appreciate you coming on the program tonight, sir, keeping us up to date. If anything moves tomorrow, please let us know. We'll have you back on the program to report on it.
Absolutely. We'll talk to you guys later on. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you, Ed Worley, NRA ILA's California State Liaison.